Ron, I'm going to tell you right now, I think a lot of people who have not been to the Northeast, here, Baltimore, Maryland, and they might be thinking about crabs, maybe the Inner Harbor. Dude, Baltimore is one of the toughest cities I have ever been to. I used to live near there at one point, and I'm a Philly kid. Baltimore makes me nervous. You walk the wrong block, you out. You out, dog. I can slice and dice Philadelphia. You run from Baltimore, man. Kaci Lennox might be beautiful. She might be sassy. She's going to kick your butt, you mess with her.
She's bad. She's dangerous. The folks from Washington, D.C. know better than to go into Baltimore.
And that says something, man.
And her opponent.
Big official debut here.
Shine debut from Portland, Oregon, weighing in at 150 pounds. She is the wild child,
Teal Piper getting a great reaction here. Of course, we saw her official debut from the perspective of on air back at Shine 81, getting interrupted by Catalina Perez and Lexi Gomez, but tonight finally in ring action, facing off though against the veteran Kaci Lennox. I'm excited to see what can Teal Piper do in a Shine Wrestling ring.
Just the genetics and the upbringing of just being born into professional wrestling as the daughter of what, I mean, quite frankly, has to be one of the biggest stars in the history of pro wrestling.
Oh, there's no question whatsoever. Roddy Piper. In fact, recently on A&E's special on Most Wanted Treasures, you saw Teal Piper appear. Of course, they were looking for some of the Hot Rod's old items, and you can see Teal Piper able to listen to Kaci Lennox outmaneuver Kaci, and Kaci can't stand it.
One thing Teal definitely has in common with her legendary father is to say she's got a screw loose or might not all be there would be an understatement. She is just a complete psychopath. Absolutely no idea. Completely unpredictable like Roddy.
Well said. Unpredictable. There's a reason. Truthfully, when you look at it, she's called the Wild Child, as we got some wrist control here by Kaci and a lot of smack talk, but fighting off Teal Piper.
Firing away, and again showing that she's made it very clear she feels not only does she belong in Shine, she wants to be looked at for title consideration now. She thinks she's at that level, and she's here to poke in the eyes. The great equalizer.
Hey, textbook, clearly. Watch some of those tapes of Dad right there. No exaggeration, and I think Kaci Lennox did not expect this, getting hit with the headbutt as well. I think Kaci Lennox thought her ring IQ was going to be higher, but guess what? You're fighting a brawler. Remember what I said about Baltimore? Well, Portland's not so nice either.
Just ground and pound, and I've seen several pictures and videos in the past of Teal working with the great Ronda Rousey, who's a renowned, huge fan of Roddy Piper. So again, we know she has the MMA experience as well, just making her doubly dangerous. But I'm not sure this is advisable. You have the advantage, but I guess she doesn't want any break in the action. She doesn't want to give Kaci any chance to recover, Trevor.
You can't. Kaci Lennox, so good, nearly a decade now in our sport. Another one of those cases where I remember when Kaci was brand new, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, nice young lady. A lot less of that sass, to say the least. But she's went on to win championships. Kaci's went on to not only be a standout here in Shine all throughout our sport. So, I'm sorry, step up senton? Where the hell did that come from? Leg is hooked. But there's the toughness of Kaci Lennox and the smart ring IQ again. Say, get the hell out of here. Let's stop this momentum of my opponent.
I really like how fluid that was on the part of Teal, making it look relatively easy, but just so much punishment to the back of Kaci Lennox. And again, Teal not wanting to give an inch. Oh, and it totally blew up in her face this time. Kaci able to send Teal Piper careening into that steel turnpost.
That's back to that point, right? Kaci changed the momentum of the match, got out of the ring.
Right.
And I believe this was Kaci's plan all along. I think Kaci believed coming into this thing, she knew more than Teal could possibly about playbook-wise what to do in the squared circle. And now we're seeing the smile on the face of Kaci Lennox.
I think it's cool is we got our sponsor, TerritoryTees.com, so heavily involved, and you got somebody whose father was one of the biggest, not only just wrestling stars, but one of the greats when you talk about the Pacific Northwest, Mid-Atlantic, Georgia. He was a top guy wherever he went.
That's the whole idea, TerritoryTees.com, where nostalgia meets the ring. Championship Wrestling from Florida t-shirts. Of course, Bruiser Brody, American Giant, but back to the action right here. You just said it. I think for Teal, her goal really is wants to get to the pinnacle. Wants to not only be known for that last name, make the last name that much more famous. I mean, it's a lady with a great attitude. Of course, I wouldn't get across the ring from her.
Right.
But when you're talking to her, you can tell that it's a young lady who's here to fight, but is possibly, oh, well, maybe not possibly. I was about to say could possibly be out.
How about the frustration by Kaci Lennox? And when you talk to Teal, the one thing that is very clear, she doesn't want to go through her career being known as one of the daughters of one of the greats. She wants to be one of the greats.
Unquestionably. But of course, if I'm Kaci Lennox, I want to cut off that momentum right now.
Absolutely.
Because as much as Teal has 4 years in the sport, hell, she debuted at AEW Double or Nothing. How many people get to debut on AEW? Guess what? I got news for you. What ends up happening instead is, here's Kaci Lennox saying, I beat that person with that big debut. I beat her in her first Shine match, and now I'm going to step on her like she stepped on me. Well done, Kaci.
And kicking dirt back onto the prone body of Teal Piper, who's got Kaci. Trevin, I remember you and I at the Orpheum in Ybor City. Kaci was a ring announcer at the time. You went her and Young Kid Cadets. That's, I mean, you talk about going back. She's been around, paid her dues. Didn't matter what the role was. But now as a wrestler, she wants to prove she belongs on that upper echelon. But a little bit of frustration here. Raining down punches to Teal Piper.
And perhaps Kaci underestimated Teal from the perspective of thinking maybe, oh, it's going to be an easy night. Obviously not the case, albeit notice a handful of hair. Our official Larry Powers doing what he can. And now it looks like Kaci is perhaps thinking, trying to wrench in there, a bit of a headlock, maybe thinking submission. As Teal fights off. What a forearm, Ron.
Yeah, I like that forearm. Laying it in. Kaci says, what you can do, I can do better. Dealing out receipts, standing toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring. Ooh, a little bit of head of steam there, Trevin.
Yeah, I told you both ladies are tough. We're going to see who can handle it more. And what a spine buster. Looks like Teal going to be taking control. Or is she?
Talk about the fact that she debuted at AEW. Just too much pressure again for a first match. And I see her here. And with all the experience traveling around the world, really have gained a lot of experience and confidence. And I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing here.
Boot is caught from Teal and able to hit the right hand, though. And I'm wondering, you see Kaci looks a little loopy. Is she out on her feet?
Snapmare taking over. Teal Piper measuring Kaci Lennox. Big boot right to the face. Kaci out, covered, hook of the leg, 2, not enough. God, that was close. Trevin, I don't think it gets any closer than that. Teal Piper right there, just an inch away from picking up her first victory here in Shine.
And Teal might have been going for a sleeper, but was reversed by Kaci Lennox. And that kick, oh, DDT countered, but able to pull down Teal, and that was hellacious, the way the knee got torqued.
Nasty.
Ron, you know the knee is hinged to go forward and backwards.
I do.
As the lady's now struggling, and it looks like it could be a sleeper hold. Now it's applied all the way. And Kaci Lennox has 2 options, Ron. Get to the ropes or pass out.
And those ropes might as well be a mile away at this point. Locked in.
There's the tap out. That's it.
I'm impressed, Trevin.
Oh, no question.
I'm not impressed easily.
What a matchup. What a battle.
Hell of a debut for Teal Piper. here at Shine 82 at the OCC Roadhouse. You get the feeling, folks, that this is going to be one of those debuts and matches that we look back and go, hey, remember when Teal Piper debuted at Shine 82?
Exactly. This could be a trivia question one day, and I'm not exaggerating. Big win once again for Teal Piper, but you could tell as she's walking like that, that knee got torqued earlier in that matchup by Kaci Lennox, and of course Kaci Lennox made Teal work for every second of that victory. No shame in defeat for Kaci, but you and I both know